We are talking about vector algebra, chapter 10 of class 12th. So, in daily life, you may be asked a question, what is your height? Or you can say that how should you pass football to your peer or to your fellow team member? Now, the height is straightforward, 1.6 meter. But how about this? Means in what direction you should shoot so that it reaches this guy? He may be here, he may be here, anywhere. So there has to be some direction also. Apart from the distance, there has to be some direction also. So this height is called the scalar because it has only magnitude, while the quantity which has magnitude as well as the direction, they are called as vectors. They are known as vectors. So we frequently come across various scalar quantities, various vector quantities, scalar quantities like length, mass, time, distance, speed, area, volume, temperature, work, money, voltage, density, resistance. And we also have vector quantities like the displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, weight, momentum, electric field intensity. So we'll talk about various vectors and vector operation and topic in this chapter. So let L be any straight line in plane or 3D space. So this L is a line. Let me show you the diagram. This is a line L. This line can be given two directions, this way or this way, forward or backwards. So these are arrowheads. The line with one of these directions is known as the directed line. These are called as directed lines. And if you see, if I just cut a portion here and say the magnitude is A, now this becomes a line segment and this is a directed line segment. This is a directed line segment. So now this directed line segment has a magnitude, this length, and a direction as well. So the quantity that has magnitude as well as direction is called as a vector. So in the particular case we just saw, this line AB can be represented like this with an arrow sign. You can simply write it as a vector AB, or vector A. So this is how we show a vector. So this point A and B has some initial point and some terminal point. This initial point and a terminal point, and from here to here it is the magnitude of the vector. So we denote it by the magnitude by 2 bars. You can say the modulus also, the magnitude, right? And the arrow over this indicates the direction of the vector. So the length can never be negative. So the notion, this one, less than 0, has no meaning. Position vector. Just assume and recall the three-dimensional right-handed rectangular coordinate system as you see here. Just consider a point P in space. This is having x, y, z as the coordinate, and this is the origin. So this is the vector OP. This vector OP is starting with from O. This is the initial point. P is the terminal point, and this is called the position vector. P is called the position vector. This 4 is called the position vector of this point P. So now we can use the distance formula easily. X minus 0 whole square plus 0 square plus y minus 0 square plus z minus 0 whole square under root. This will be simply equal to the magnitude, which is x square plus y square plus z square under root. So the position vector of points, any point A, B, C, this, or this, with respect to the origin is denoted by A, B and C. A, these are all the position vectors of this point, any point of this A, B, C. Now we come to the direction cosines. What are the direction cosines? Now just consider the position vector of this OP, or you can say it as in short as R. This is your position vector, and this point is x, y, z. This line, or you can say this vector, is making angle of alpha with x-axis, beta with y-axis, and the angle gamma with the z-axis, right? These are called the direction angles. And the cosine values of this action, these angles, that is the cos alpha, cos beta, cos gamma. These are nothing but the direction cosines of this R. This you have to understand very well, because in the next various discussions, we will be directly talking about the direction cosine of any point. So direction cosine is cos alpha, cos beta, cos gamma. We can simply write it as L, M or N. See here, when we make OP, and if you draw a perpendicular from P to A, this is a perpendicular. So see, there is a way we can represent it. So in this figure, as we just saw, the triangle OAQ is right angle. So cos alpha will be what? X by R. This X by this R, right? X by R. Cos alpha will be base upon hypotenuse. R stands for what? The magnitude of R. And since we have various right triangles, if you draw a perpendicular OBP, OCP, so in the similar manner, cos beta will be Y by R and cos gamma will be Z by R. So now the coordinates of point P will be what? Because the coordinates are X, Y, Z. And this is L, this is M, and this is N. So X will be LR, Y will be MR, and Z will be NR. So this LR, MR, NR, we can also represent the point P like this. So these are proportional to the direction cosines. These are nothing but we have, because R is common here. So they are proportional to the direction cosine. And here we call them as these to be known as, because we have R as common. So this can be known as ABC, and these are denoted by ABC. We call them as direction ratios. You can simply say L square plus M square plus N square equal to 1. But this A square plus B square plus C square, that is, if you add squares of the direction cosine, it will give you 1. Otherwise, this is not always true. That is, if you square and add direction ratios, it may not be equal to 1 always. Types of vector. How many types of vector we have? Let us see one by one. Zero vector. If a vector has initial point and final point as same, that is, they coincide, we call it as a zero vector. We denote it by zero vector. So zero vector, because there is no direction, there is no magnitude, we can just say A like this, because A starting is A, ending is A. So A, B, these are all zero vector. Then we have unit vector. Any vector with magnitude equal to 1 is called the unit vector. So we write, it has a special notation, we write cap on it. So A cap means a unit vector. Co-initial vector, two or more vectors if they start from the same initial point. These are called co-initial vectors. And collinear vectors, if two or more vectors are said to be collinear, if either they are parallel to the same line or they are on the same line, irrespective of their magnitudes and directions. Equal vectors. A and B are said to be equal if their magnitudes are equal, if they have the same magnitude, and the direction. You don't have to worry about the position of their initial points. Negative of a vector. What is a negative of a vector? See, AB is nothing but from here to here, AB, AB. And this is what? This is the direction, AB. Now this AB is the direction, and when we say negative, this is the AB negative direction. So this becomes ABA actually. So BA is the negative of AB. When we write BA is equal to negative of A. Right? Now let us see some example. Represent graphically displacement of 40 km, 30 degrees west of south. So this is OP vector. Let us assume it to be OP vector from O to P. Now we have, let us take scale as 10 km. This is east, north, west and south. South, north, east, west. This is west of south. So we have to take south and we have to go west of south. So this is 30 degrees. Classify the following measures as scalars and vectors. So this is a time scalar, this is a volume scalar, this is a force scalar, this is a speed scalar, this is a density scalar, gram per centimeter cube, and this one is the velocity scalar. In this figure, which of the vectors are collinear, equal and coefficient? See, which of them are equal? A and C are equal. Then C and B, D are equal, right? And coinitial, these points are coinitial. 1, 2, 3. So B, C, B, D, C are coinitial. And who are collinear? These two are collinear. So let us see. A, C, D. These are collinear. A, C and D. C and D are collinear. But A is parallel to this. That is why they are collinear. How about equal vectors? A and C are equal. And then coinitial vectors. That is coinitial vector is nothing but this point. Its emanating or start point is this. So this is B, C and D. Now addition of two vectors. We know how to add two numbers. So the vector AB, this simply means that the displacement of a point A to the point B. Let us consider one more situation. We have one more move from B to C. So our movement is from A to B and B to C, but our displacement is from A to C. So this A to C is expressed like this. AC in form of vector is AC. This AC is equal to AB plus BC, and this is the triangle law of vector addition. So in general, if we take two vectors A and B and we add them, their positions so that the initial point of one coincides with the terminal object. If this is A, we have to take B here. So B like this. Now this will be A plus B. Again, this is A and this is B. This will be A plus B. And if you oppose the direction or make the negation of this direction B, this will be B. Now this will be A plus minus B. This is showing A minus B. So how we can represent it? This is simple, a triangle A plus B, A minus B. And if you just take it other way around, that will be AC will be minus CA, right? So it will be AB plus AC plus CA, that will be actually AA, and it will be 0. If you start, you go and you come back. The displacement is 0, so the vector addition will be 0 here. Okay, these are all the various aspects from different perspective. I'm just showing you an example that let us see this. Now you are moving here. Say these are two banks of river, and your steamer or your boat is going like this. Now you have a force also here of this stream. So you will not move to this direction. You will actually be moving this direction because this is your Indian power. This is your stream power. That is the stream actually is going by naturally. And it is forcing you also to change the direction. So this is your A plus B. Now this is the parallelogram of law of vector addition. Parallelogram of vector addition. If this is A, this will also be A. This is B. This will also be B. Now this is nothing but A plus B. This is A plus B. And similarly, you can also use this too. This can also be A plus B. You can also make like this. So this will be A plus B. This will be A plus B like this. And we have properties of vector addition. We can compute A plus B is equal to B plus A if they are vectors. So just consider this parallelogram and this parallelogram ABCD. In this figure, AB is A, BC is B. Then just use the law of triangle. From triangle ABC we get AC is what? A plus B. Now since the opposite sides are also equal, this is A, this A, you get B plus A. But B plus A and A plus B are equal. So A plus B and B plus A are equal. That is why we are able to commute them. Then we have a property called associative property. If we add these two or these two together first, there will be no change. For example, we take this example or this figure. Let the vectors A, this B, and this C, they represent PQ, QR, and RS. In this case, if you add first this one, A plus B, this is A plus B, then you add C, so this is A plus B plus C. Now you take these two, B and C. So if you add B plus C, and then you add with A, it will be A plus B plus C. These two are equivalent. You'll get the same stuff. This is the explanation. You'll get the same thing. One thing I would like to add here is the additive identity. If you take the value of, or you can say the vector, if it is added with any value, and you get the same vector, then this value should be additive identity, and this is none other than 0 vector.
Multiplication of a vector by a scalar. So let us take this a to be a given vector and lambda a scalar. Any value, it can be any value which has no direction, just like any number like 2, 3, minus 6, like this, half. So the product of this vector a by the scalar lambda, which is denoted by lambda into a, this a is with this arrow, and this is called the multiplication of vector a by the scalar. So lambda a is what? This is a vector, and this is again collinear with the vector a. I'll show you. This is a. If you multiply some, say, scalar half into a, it will be half of this. If you multiply twice of a, it will be twice of it. Minus half of a will just change the direction. 2a minus 2a will change the direction and also make it twice. So the magnitude of vector lambda a arrow is lambda times, lambda is, you can make it positive, times the magnitude of the vector a, that is lambda a will be simply equal to lambda into a, and these are the magnitudes. So these are the geometric visualization of the multiplication of vector by a scalar. When you have lambda equal to minus 1, what is happening? If this is, say, a, minus 1a will be like this. So when you add these two, what you get? You get 0. So this is called the additive inverse or negative of vector a. We also have one more thing. If you have this vector a and if you have some vector so that you get 1, you multiply some vector that is 1, and this is nothing but, this is, you can take it as a scalar for example, but right now because we are taking just the magnitude, so we say this one for this is the you can say the inverse. This is the additive inverse and this is the multiplicative inverse. This is multiplicative inverse for this and this is multiplicative inverse for this, because when we multiply both of these, we get 1. And this lambda a represent the unit vector in the direction of a. So we just write a cap is equal to 1 by mod of a, that is the magnitude of a, and this is the vector. So this is the a cap, unit vector in the direction of a. And if you have scalar k, which is equal to, say, some value, but the vector is 0, the result will be 0. Now components of a vector. Let us take some points a, b, c on the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So this is very important, all together and all through we are going to use these concepts, components of a vector. So if this is a point a, this is b and this is c. These are on x-axis and y-axis, and you see this is z-axis, and the length is 1. Just assume length to be 1, so coordinates are very easy to find out, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Now this vector OA, OB and OC, if we say their magnitude is 1, they are called the unit vectors along x, y and z axis, and they are just denoted by I cap, j cap and k cap. This is cap, so these are the unit vectors along the axis. And just now consider this, right? What is happening here is, this is point O, this is point P, this is PXY, just take any point XYZ, and this P1, if you drop a perpendicular, this P1 is the foot of the perpendicular from P on XY plane, right? On XOY, this plane means whole this plane, this is P1 is the foot of the perpendicular. Now we see that this P1 is parallel to what? Z-axis. And as we know that the this I, j and k are the unit vectors along x, y, z axis. So by definition of the coordinates of a P, we can say that P1P is nothing but zk. This is equal to zk. So in the same terms, this QP1, that is this QP1 will be what? Yj. And what will be this OQ? This one. This will be simply xi. So this is xi, this is yj, and this is zk. And which follows that OP1 is what? OP1 is xi plus yj. And what is this OP? OP1 plus zk, that is xi plus yj. This was xi plus yj, and this is zk. So xi plus yj plus zk. So what you got? You got xi plus yj plus zk. So OP is what? R. Position vector of P, any point P, with reference to O is nothing but xi plus yj plus zk. So this form of any vector is called the component form. This is called the component form, where x, y, z are called as the scalar component of R, and xi, yj, zk, these are called the vector components of R along the respective axis. Please let me reiterate. This is called the component form. X, y, z are called the scalar components of R, and xi, yj and zk are called the vector components of R along the respective axis. So sometimes x, y, z, they are also termed as rectangular components. Sometimes they are called as rectangular components. So the length of vector, we just saw this. You can easily find out. You have Pythagoras theorem. You have to use Pythagoras theorem twice. Simply see, this is what x square, y square. This is x square plus y square. This is z square. So this is x square plus y square plus z square. This becomes R becomes under root x square plus y square plus z square. Okay, x square plus y square, again apply it, x square plus y square with z square. So you get a distance, that is R. So R is actually xi plus yj plus zk. The mod of R, that is this, or the magnitude of R, is under root x square plus y square plus z square. So if A and B, they are two vectors, they are given in component form, a1i plus b2j plus a3k, b1i plus b2j plus b3k. Then the sum of the resultant of the vector AB is nothing but A plus B is, you add A1 plus B1, that is this corresponding to I, just add those coefficients of I which are present, and coefficient of J, A2 plus B2, coefficient of K, A3 plus B3. And when you differ, or you want to find out the difference, just find the difference between the values which have same, means the components of the same I, J, K. When you say that they are equal, that means if A and B are equal, that means A1 has to be equal to B1. Corresponding means corresponding unit vector, the coefficient or the scalar values has to be equal. And when we multiply lambda, you can multiply inside also. So the addition of vectors and multiplication of a vector by a scalar together gives you some distributive law. We have Ka plus Ma, you can take K plus M and then A common. You have Kma, that is Km, you can take A, this A is the vector. How about Ka plus B? Ka plus Kb can be taken. Now we may observe one more thing, that whatever will be the value of this scalar, this is always collinear to vector. Means if this is lambda, or this is A, this will be lambda A, or this will be lambda A, or this will be lambda A, right? So these two vectors A and B, they are collinear if and only if there exists some non-zero scalar lambda such that B equal to lambda A. Okay, just take an example. If A and B are in component form like this, so we can write this B here and A here. So B1i plus B2j plus B3k will be equal to lambda of this A term. Now just multiply lambda inside here and equate B1 equal to lambda A1, B2 equal to lambda A2, and B3 equal to lambda A3. So this actually, this is nothing but B1 by A1 plus B2 is equal to B2 by A2 is equal to B3 by A3 is equal to lambda. If A is like this, then A1, A2, A3, these are called the direction ratios of A. What are these called? These are direction ratios. And if you want to go for the direction cosines, so if the case is that it is given L, M, N, these are direction cosines of the vector, then Li plus Mj plus Nk, that is cos alpha I plus cos beta j plus cos gamma k, is the unit vector in the direction of that vector. Please understand, Li plus Mj plus Nk, L, M, N are given as the direction cosines. So this one is the unit vector in the direction of that vector. These are the angle with the axis. So now let us take some example. Find the value of x, y, z so that vectors this and this, they are equal. So when they are equal, x has to be equal to 2, 2 has to be equal to y, and z has to be equal to 1. This is the equation. These two are vectors A and B. Is A equal to B? That is, the magnitude is equal to first is equal to second or not. And are the vectors A, B equal? Let us find out. See, this is 1 square plus 2 square magnitude, and this is 2 square plus 1 square, so under root 5 under root 5. So the magnitude of both of these are equal, a and b are equal. But these two vectors are not equal. Why? Because 2 is not equal to 1. We are taking coefficient of I, j coefficient, they are not equal. So the corresponding components are not equal, or they are distinct. Find the unit vector in the direction of vector this. Find the unit vector. So we have known in theory that the unit vector in the direction of vector this is nothing but take this, divide by the magnitude of A. So what is the magnitude of A? 2 square plus 3 square plus 1 square, this one, and just divide it by, divide this by under root 14. So 2 by root 14, 3 by root 14 and 1 by root 14. This is the A cap, which is the unit vector in the direction of the vector this one. So find a vector in the direction of this that has magnitude 7 units. So first of all, let us find out the unit vector. Unit vector can be found out by just dividing the magnitude of A, 1 square plus 2 square, that is under root 5. So 1 by this I by root 5 and 2 j by root 5. Now the vector having magnitude equal to 7. So this is a unit vector. What will be the magnitude? 7 into A cap will be the magnitude, because A cap is having one value. It is a unit vector. So 7A cap, it will be 7 into this one. So this will be 7 by root 5 minus 14 by root 5. Find the unit vector in the direction of the sum of the vectors this and this. Find the unit vector in the direction of sum of the vectors. So let us first say and find out this sum, that is 2 plus 2 corresponding to, we see I coefficient can be added, I and j cannot be added, k and j cannot be added, only I values, the coefficient, or you can say the I components can be added. So 2 plus 2, 2 plus 1 and minus 5 plus 3. So this is A plus B. What will be C? Means if this is C vector, what will be C? 4 square plus 3 square plus 2 square. That will be under root 29. Just take this and divide under root 29. This will be your unit vector in the direction of some of the vectors. Write the direction ratios of the vector this one and hence calculate its direction cosines. So just note that the direction ratios, these A, B, C of any vector are equal to xi plus yj plus zk. They are just respective components of x, y, z of the vector, right? X, y, z axis. So when you want to find out the direction ratios of this vector and direction cosine, this is very important question, by the way, because this will actually tell you what is the difference between direction ratio, cosine. This is very important. Just observe it carefully. See, the direction ratios ABC of vector, any of these vector, are just the relative components x, y, z. So here we see that is A is nothing but 1, B is 1 and C is minus 2. So these are what? ABC are direction ratios. Now, how about the direction cosines? Direction cosines are nothing but the division of this with the magnitude of this vector. You are making it unit, and direction cosine is unit along that angle of unit angle along that that vector. So LMN will be this 1 divided by under root 1 square plus 1 square plus 2 square under root 6. Similarly, this 1 by under root 6, and now here minus 2 by under root 6. So this R, the magnitude of this has to be divided, and you get the direction cosines like this. Vector joining 2 points. If P1 and P2 they are any 2 points, then let us see the diagram. If P1 and P2 are these points x1, y1, z1, x2, y2, z2. Now you have to find out the vector which is joining these 2 points. So use the rule of rectangle. What is this OP? This is x1i plus y1j plus z1k. What is this? x2i plus y2j plus z3k. So what this will be? If you take this one, you have got this one. This OP will be equal to, by triangle rule, OP1 plus P2 P1 means OP1 will be OP1 plus OP1 P2. OP1 plus P1 P2 will be equal to this. This is the law of triangle. Now we see that P1 P2 is what? As I just said, P1 P2 is what? This is nothing but x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z minus z1, right? x2 minus x1, z2 minus z1, and you can just say that either you do this or OP2 minus OP1 and now subtract. So x2 minus x1 simply like this, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1, and ijk, these are, ijk are what? they are the unit vectors. So this is P1, P2. And what is the length of the P1, P2? Under root this square plus this square plus this square. So this is the vector joining 2 points. I hope you got the idea. To find the vector joining these two directed from P to Q, so you can take just two values. This -1 of -2 to -2 of -3, -4, -0. This is your PQ and PQ is this. So the vector, since the vector is to be directed from P to Q, so P is the initial point and Q is the final point. So the required vector joining PQ will be PQ like this. That is why we just subtracted this from this. Now section formula. So it may be possible that if you have, say, vector this Q and R or Q and P, OQ and OP represented by A and B, you can have any vector R which is dividing, say this R vector is dividing the A and B combination in n:m internally. It can divide it externally also. So here we see, what is this R? This is equal to A plus this one, right? This is what? And this is what? B plus R is this. And what about the original triangle? Means OQP, A plus B. This is what? A plus B. And so this will become A plus B by M and this will become A plus B by N. Let us see. First of all, if it divides internally, if it divides R divides PQ such that RPQ, MRQ, M into RQ is equal to N into RP. This is okay. When it divides it internally, so MRQ will be equal to NRQ. Since M and R are simply positive scalars, so we say that R divides PQ internally in the ratio M:n. So now this RQ will be what? See, as I just told you, RQ will be OQ minus OR. RQ is OQ minus OR. This is simply B minus R. Similar is the case with PR, R minus A. Just place these two in this equation. You get M B minus R is equal to N R minus A. Just rearrange it. You'll get this, right? So this is the, you can say, a value or a vector which is dividing two vectors internally. And similarly, if it is dividing externally, you have a position vector here of a point R which divides PQ internally. Now you have a point also which can be outside. So it can divide externally also. Here this whole is M and this is N. So what this will be? M minus N. Now you have A and B, but this R is not inside this. It is outside. So it is dividing externally. So this is nothing but PR is to QR, that is this one. PR is to QR is equal to M by N. We'll use this. And you can just, write in the similar equation this way, and you can find out these two, and it will be simply negative sign. MB minus NA equal to M minus N. One more thing, if M is equal to N, that is, it divides, your R is dividing A and B or P or Q internally at the central point, that is bisecting it, that is M is to N, so OR will be A plus B by 2. So let us take an example. Consider 2 points P and Q. We have position vector this and this. Find the position vector of R which divides the line joining P and Q in the ratio 2:1. So we have A plus this 3A plus B. Take it with, see, 2:1. This is M, this is N. So M into 3A plus 2B, 3A minus 2B, N into A plus B divided by 2 plus 1. And if it is dividing externally, M into, we'll just subtract it. So this is M is to N. So M into 3, M into, this is 2. So 2 into A plus B minus N into 3A minus 2B, A minus B. This will be equal to 4B minus A and this will be equal to 5A by 3. Show that the points, these three are vertices of a right angle triangle. So what we will do, we'll find out this one, the magnitude, and we'll prove that square of two vectors will be equal to the third vector, the magnitude. So AB, if this is A and say this is B and this is C. So AB will be what? Just find out here. This 1 minus 2 whole square, 1 minus 2, sorry, not whole square. We'll do it whole square later. 1 minus 2 minus 3 minus 1 and minus 5 minus 1. So this is the AB, BC and CA. You can get like this. And now find out the magnitude. That is 1 square plus 2 square plus 6 square, 2 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, 1 square plus 3 square plus 5 square. And just equate. That is, you get AB square as 41 and BC, this BC is simply 6 and CA is simply your 35, because it basically BC will come as under root 6, but we are squaring it. So this becomes equal to 41. This triangle is a right angle triangle. Now product of two vectors. We have seen about the addition, the subtraction of two vectors. Now we'll see about product of two vectors. First is the scalar vector or scalar product, and the second one will be the vector, or we'll call it as a cross product. And there are different types. We need them in different ways, and as we see that in the examples also, the geometry, mechanics, engineering, various applications are there, various fields are there where we can employ them. So the first is the scalar or dot product of two vectors. What this says is, if this is a vector A, this is a vector B, then the scalar product of two non-zero vectors A and B is denoted by A dot B. A dot B, and this is given by the magnitude of A, magnitude of B cos theta. See, the theta is the angle between this A and B. It goes from here to till here, that is, it goes from 0 to pi, 180 degree. And if either of these are 0, then because division of 0 is not defined, so we don't take it, right? So A dot B is a real number because A is by itself a vector and B is a vector, so A dot B is a real number. And this, because it is going to give you a number, there will be no direction. We'll see in cross product what direction means in cross product. So A and B, if these are two non-zero vectors, then A dot B is equal to B. This only will be B when your cos theta is 0, and that is only possible when cos is 90 degree, and this is possible. We say A is perpendicular to B, or A dot B equal to 0. Now if theta is 0, then what cos theta will give? Cos 0 is 1. So this will be A dot B will be mod A, that is magnitude of A and B. So it will give you just simply this one, and there will be no cos theta. When we have A and B equal, so A square will be the mod of A square. Theta in this case is again 0. If theta is pi, means cos pi, then it will give you a value of minus 1. So A dot B will be equal to minus AB, that is A into minus A will be minus A whole square. Theta in this case is pi, 180 degree. Now as we just saw, the perpendicularity, the unit vectors I, j, k. So I dot I, that is I dot I is what? I and cos, because the angle will be 0, cos 0. So it will be equal to, this is magnitude 1, this is magnitude 1, it will be 1. So I dot I will be 1. And when we take ij, because they are perpendicular, it will be I, j, and what will be cos pi by 2, that is 90 degree, and this will be 0. So I dot j, j dot k, and k dot I will be 0. So the angle between two non-zero vectors A and B will be given by like this. Cos theta is A by B, magnitude of AB and B, and theta is nothing but cos inverse A dot B by AB, and these are the magnitude. And see, A dot B is AB cos theta, B dot A is again AB cos theta, where A and B are magnitude. So magnitude can be commuted. That is why A dot B is equal to B dot A. There are other properties of scalar product, that is the distributivity of scalar product or addition. So this is the distribution, this is the distributivity. And how does it happen? This is the dot product. So you can distribute A dot B plus A dot C. And if you want to prove it, let us take one more property, then I'll tell you. A and B be any two vectors, and lambda is a scalar. So now you can multiply lambda A, lambda, it can be taken as lambda B, because this is a scalar, so it can be multiplied by anyone. So if this is A, this is B, A dot B will simply, you will get I dot I somewhere, you'll get I dot j somewhere, j dot k somewhere. So wherever this comes, make 0. Whenever this comes, make it 1. So ultimately you'll get as a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 c3. So a dot b will be a1 b1 plus a2 b2 plus a3 b3. Now what is the projection of a vector on a line? Projection, let us see a diagram first. Just suppose that we have a vector AB, and this makes an angle of theta with a given line. Say this is L. Say in the anti-clockwise direction. This is the anti-clockwise direction. So the projection of this AB on L is a vector P. Say this is a vector P, and this is nothing but a cos theta. See, a cos theta, because P by A is equal to this P by A. What is cos theta? Base by hypotenuse. So base P, hypotenuse A, and this is going to be cos theta. So cos theta is the P can be easily written as AB, that is this one, AB cos theta. So this is in the direction of P. So this is called as P is called as the projection vector. P is called the projection vector of this AB, and its magnitude, that is this P magnitude, is simply called the projection of this vector on directed line. So various options can be there: 0 to 90, 90 to 180, 180 to 270, 270 to 360, like this. Just take an example. We observe here that when we have certain examples of different cases, like you can also have this P, as I just said, theta which is greater than 90 degree, theta which is between 180 and 270 degree, theta which is between 270 and theta between 360 degree. So observation here is that P is the unit vector of length L. Then the projection of A on the line L is simply A dot B, and the projection of vector A on another vector B is given by A dot B. And this is what? See, this is a vector. This is a vector. So this B cap is nothing but, what is this B cap? I am talking about B cap, A dot P cap. We just said that if P is the unit vector along a line, then the projection of vector A on that line is this, and P has to be a unit vector. What is this A dot B? And this is a cap. So this is unit vector. This is given by B. This is given by B by this one, the magnitude divided by the original vector. So it will give you A dot B by the magnitude of B. If theta is 0, then the projection of a vector AB will be simply itself, because theta is 180 degree, it is same. So the projection of AB will be simply BA, because pi is on this side. So this is the projection. And in case if theta is 2n plus 1 pi by 2, that is odd multiple of pi by 2, then the projection vector of AB will be a 0 vector. So now if alpha, beta, gamma, they are direction angles of, say, vector A, then direction cosine will be, as we just saw, it will be A dot the cap, I cap, and the magnitude of A divided by the modulus of I cap, that will be again 1. So this is simply, you can write it as, because this is 1, this is only simply 1, and you are taking the I value. So A vector, this is A1I, other will be 0. If you multiply A1I plus A2J plus A3K with, say, I cap, so you'll get only this value, otherwise these all will be 0. So what you get? A1 by mod A. Similarly, cos beta will be this, cos gamma will be this. And just have to note that this one, if you take this here, A bar or A arrow, these are simply A cos alpha, B this A cos beta, and A cos gamma. These are respectively the projection of A along the three axes, OX, OY, and OZ. And this scalar component, that is A1, A2, A3, these are the scalar components of the vector A, right? So these are just the projection and the value along the axis. So if this A is a unit vector, then you can express it in terms of direction cosine simply, like A is cos alpha I, cos beta j plus cos gamma k. Now let us take example. I just told you that there are certain properties, we'll be talking about that. So let us see with an example how those properties comes in. Find the angle between two vectors A and B with magnitude 1 and 2 respectively when A dot this B is 1. So A dot B equal to 1. A is simply given as 1, magnitude is B is 2. So theta will be cos inverse AB by AB. This will be a dot product, so it will be 1 A dot B, and this is simply 2 into 1. So cos inverse 1 by 3, that is pi by 3, and this is nothing but 60 degree. Next is find angle theta between these two. So simply you have to just take a dot product, means 1 into 1, 1 plus 1 into minus 1 plus minus 1 into 1, this way, A dot B, and this magnitude is what? 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, that is under root 3, again 1 square plus 1 square plus 1 square, under root 3, so under root 3 into under root 3, here under root 3, it will be 3 in the denominator, and this is the numerator minus 1 by 3. So cos theta will be minus 1 by 3, theta will be simply cos inverse minus 1 by 3. Example 15, A is this, B is this. You have to show that the vectors these are perpendicular. First we'll find A plus B. We'll simply add 5 plus 1, minus 1 plus 3, and minus 3 plus minus 5. Then we'll subtract, that is 5 minus 1 of minus 1 and minus 3 minus 1 minus 5. So A plus B and A minus B, I hope you'll be able to do it. And then you have to multiply it, just multiply it. If this multiplication gives you 0, that is the dot product is 0, that means these two vectors are nothing but perpendicular. So this is A plus B, this is A minus B, multiplied you get 0, these are perpendicular. Find the projection of this vector on the vector this. We have seen about the projection now, and this is simply A dot B in the vector form divided by, because you have to find out the projection on this, so it will be A dot B by the modulus or the value of or the magnitude of B. So it will be 2 into 1 plus 2 into 3 plus 1 into 2 divided by under root 1 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. This will be answer. Find A minus B if two vectors A and B are such that this magnitudes are given and A dot B equal to 4. So just square it. When you square it, it will be A minus B here, A minus B, A minus B. So what you get? A square minus AB and minus BA, sorry, and minus B square. So this is simply, you can commute it. You know that A dot B equal to B dot A. So you can commute it. This will be minus 2AB. This is A square. This is B square. And this is given as this is given as 2, so it will be 2 square, 4 here. This is given as 3, so it will be 3 square 9. And this A dot B is also given 4. Just put it here. A minus B will be under root of this, which will be under root 5. If A is the unit vector and x minus ax plus A dot is given as 8, we have to find out the magnitude of x. So A is the unit vector, that is the magnitude of A will be equal to 1 because it is a unit vector. Now let us multiply it. You get xx, xa minus ax and minus a square, that is. So here these two can be cancelled because they are commutative, they are equal. Now x square is equal to 8 minus 8 plus of a square, and a square is given as 1. So this will be 8 plus 1, it will be equal to 9, just root it. It will give you 3. We are not taking the negative value because magnitude are never in negative. Find any two values A and B we have where A dot B is less than or equal to AB. Cauchy-Schwarz inequality is this. So this inequality holds when A equal to 0, B equal to 0, just put A is 0 here, right? This will be equal or less than, because we have equal sign also, they can be equal. So the situation is A dot B is equal to 0 and A and B are also equal. But let us assume they are not equal. No, neither A nor B is equal to 0. So what we get? Cos theta is nothing but A dot B by AB. But cos theta here is less than or equal to 1. This simply says that when you take it here, that is A, B, this will be less than or equal to 1, right? Or you can just dot product it and you can say it will be less than or equal to 1. So this is essentially, because this is less than or equal to 1, cos theta is always less than or equal to 1, it will be y. See, A dot B is A, B, cos theta, and cos theta is always lying between minus 1 and plus 1. But when we take a mod, it will be always less than or equal to 1, right? It will always be like less than, essentially it will be between 0 to 1. So this will be less than or equal to 1. So you can take it here 1. So it will be AB less than or equal to AB. Now for any two vectors a, b, we always have this. This is the triangle inequality. A plus b is less than or equal to mod of a plus mod of b, magnitude of a plus magnitude of b. So if a is 0, b is 0, this is trivial. Let us assume a is not equal to 0 and b is not equal to 0. Just square it. Just square it. It will be a plus b, just multiply, just open it with multiplication. You'll get this a square, b square, and since they are commutative, you can write it as 2ab. Now you see that since x will be always less than or equal to mod x, because x, if x is positive, x will be always positive. If x is negative, if x is positive, mod x will be positive, and if x is negative, mod x will be negative, right? The value inside that will be negative. So since x is always less than or equal to mod of x, if you change it, this a dot b to a b, will use this inequality, and you can just take it as less than or equal to of this. And this is what? This is nothing but a plus b whole square in magnitudes, and you can just take remove the square side. A plus b will be less than or equal to mod a plus mod b. Show that these three are collinear. Collinear means they ought to have to be on same line, okay, or parallel to same line. So let us find AB. I hope you will be able to find out AB. 1 minus minus of 2, 2 minus 3, 3 minus 5, corresponding ijk has to be subtracted. So AB, BC, AC you can find out. Just find out the magnitude, 3 square plus 1 square plus 2 square, like this, all of these. You see AB is root this, BC is this, and AC is this. If you add AB and BC, you get AC, and this is what we wanted. That is why it is collinear. Now we come to the vector or cross product of two vectors. So we have seen about the three-dimensional right-handed rectangular coordinate system. So in that system, the positive x-axis, if it is rotated counterclockwise like this, if you rotate your thumb like this, right, from x to y-axis, right, from x to y-axis, your thumb will show, or your thumb will point in the z direction. Similarly, if you move the screw from x to y, it will go up. It will go up, right, in the z direction. So the vector product of two non-zero vectors a and b, which is known divided by a cross b. A cross b. This is defined as a cross b is a b sine theta. Then you have n cap also. So in cross you have n cap, which is the direction perpendicular to both a and b. This is very important because in dot product we didn't have any direction. We just had a real number. But here we have a result which is again a vector, and theta lies between theta is the angle between a and b, and theta lies between this 0 and pi, and this n cap is nothing but the unit vector which is perpendicular in the right-handed system. Okay, and you see if sine theta is 0, a cross b will be 0. Sine theta will be 0 when sine pi by 2, sine cos 0 is 1 and sine pi by 2 is 1. So cos 0 and cos 90, cos pi by 2 is 0. So we have cos sine pi by 2 as 1. So this sine theta will be 0 when, if it is 0, then a cross b will be 0. What we have observed, a cross b is a vector. A and b, if they are two non-zero, then if a cross b is 0, that means a and b have to be collinear. Okay, then sine 0 is 0, that is why a cross b is this, a, that means a is parallel to b. If you have this as similar, a, then you can have 0. A minus a is also 0, because in this situation theta is 0, in this situation theta is pi. If theta is pi by 2, then what? A cross b will be equal to, because you know that sine pi by 2 or sine 90 is 1. So a cross b will be ab. So in this observation, now the things will change. How? Because I cross I now will become 0, because I cross I will be I and sine 0, and this is 0. I cross I is sine 0. Sine 0 is 0. But in this case, it will be I cross j cross sine pi by 2. And that will be k, because n cap will be in ij, the line which is perpendicular or position vector, or say the unit vector which is perpendicular to I and j is k. So you get k with 1 here. Similar is the case with j cross k and k cross j. So essentially sin theta will be a cross b by the magnitude of a and b. And this is always true that the vector product is not commutative. That is, a cross b will be not equal to b cross a. Actually, it will be negative, because one will be n cap will be here, other side the n cap will be pointing downside. See, this is ab, n cap is here. If this is a and b, then the n cap will be here. So if we assume a, b to line in the plane of paper, n and n1, they are in opposite direction. That is why a cross b will be equal to minus b cross a. This you also have to see j cross I, because I cross j was k, but j cross I will be minus k. So if a and b, they are representing the adjacent side of a triangle, then you can find out the area of that triangle. How? Half into a cross b. Half into a cross b. This is going to be. See, I'll tell you. This is a triangle. Okay, this is a triangle with a is this vector, b is this vector. Now let us join BC and drop a perpendicular from C to AB. What is the area of this triangle? Half into base, that is b, into the b in altitude, that is CD. But what is CD? If you take this one, A, this CD is nothing but a sine theta. If you take sine theta, that will be perpendicular by hypotenuse. So this is nothing but a sine theta. So you can place b here, and in this place you can place a sine theta. So this will be half into b into a sine theta, because this is magnitude. This will be half a cross b. So this is simply the cross product by 2. Now if you take the case of a parallelogram, the area is a cross b simply. Area of parallelogram is a cross b. So here the area is what? In this particular parallelogram, ABCD, this will be AB into DE, base into height. Base into height. What is base? B. What is the height? Which is a sine theta. Again a sine theta. So this is b into a sine theta, which is a cross b. So the area of parallelogram is simply a cross b. The area of triangle was half into a cross b. We also have distributivity of vector product over addition. If a, b, c, these are any vectors, only 3 vectors, and lambda is a scalar. So a cross b plus c is a cross b plus a cross c. Lambda into a cross b is lambda I. You can take lambda here also. So essentially, what in example we are going to do, in the component form, if you could write a as a1i plus a2j plus a3k, then in component form b will be b1i plus b2j plus b3k. So cross product will be simply a cross b. ijk will be here. This is the component vector a. This is the component vector b. So when you cross it, you will get I cross I cross I, sorry, and you will get ij jk like this. So just put the values we have seen, and you will simply get this as the result, which is simply this one. I hope that how we got to this a cross b, we just took the cross product, and this is the result. Now we have to find a cross b, where a and b are this. Just put ijk, the position, the vectors I 2, 1 and 3, here 3, 5 and minus 2, this, and just solve it. You will get a cross b. Just take the magnitude. Then find the unit vector perpendicular to each of the vector this and this, where a and b are given. So a plus b and a minus b is given. So any vector which is perpendicular to b, both of these will be actually the which will be given by the cross product of these two. So find out the cross product. ijk, take the coefficient of ijk here, coefficient of, or you can say the component of a and component of b, and just say it is the value like this. And 2 square minus 2 square plus 4 square plus minus 2 whole square, this will be your value. This will be your unit vector. But unit vector is not yet been computed, because this, when divided by the magnitude, then gives the unit vector. Unit vector is always the vector divided by the magnitude. Then find the area of a triangle having these points as its vertices. So first of all, this AB you have to find out, then AC you have to find out, and we know the area of triangle is half AB into AC, half AB cross AB, not into but AB cross AC. So just place it here, IJK. This is the position vector, or you can component of AB, component of AC. This will be minus 4I plus 2J minus K, and just take the 4 square minus 4 square plus 2 square plus 1 square. This is the magnitude. This is the value. Find the area of a parallelogram. We know that it is just base into height whose adjacent sides are given. So this cross this is your value. Just take the components, place in this formula, you can say, or determinant, IJK 314 and 1 minus 1 1. So just take the magnitude 5 square plus 1 square plus minus 4 whole square under root 40.
Here we are discussing the miscellaneous examples. Write all the unit vectors in xy plane. So what are the unit vectors in xy plane? Whenever we are talking about xy plane, z is equal to 0. So we have a Cartesian coordinate system, x and y, and we have a r vector. The magnitude is 1. So when we make a circle of unit radius, this point, which is the P, so the x coordinate and y coordinate, how do we represent it with respect to this theta or r? So x is r cos theta, y is r sin theta. So how do we write this? R will be equal to xi plus yj. So this is a unit vector in xy plane. And from the figure it's quite clear, x is x 1 cos theta, y is 1 sin theta, because the magnitude of r is 1. Now we may write this vector r with an arrow above is a vector. So which is represented by OP here. It is cos theta plus I sin theta with I and j. What is the magnitude? Under root of cos square theta plus sin square theta, which is equal to 1. So this is the mod. Mod basically it's the magnitude. One more thing important here is, since theta is starting from 0, it goes up to 360. So 0 to 2 pi. So this P point, which is an imaginary point we are taking, this is tracing a circle counterclockwise. And these are all the possible directions which it is covering. So we have 3. 1, 2, 3. These are the position vectors of point A, B, C. No, they are 4. So A, B, C, D. So there are the position vector. We have to find the angle between AB and CD. These are vectors. And we have to deduce that AB and CD are collinear. Please understand the angle between this vector AB and CD. Then this theta is the angle between AB vector and CD vector. So AB, CD are lines, but when we have an arrow on this, we are talking about directions also. So the angles remains the same. So AB vector will be what? We'll have to take the position vector of B and we have to subtract the position vector of A. That is 2i plus 5j is for B and I plus j plus k is for A. Then we subtract them. We get I plus 4j minus k. Then we will take the magnitude, that is take the coefficient of ij, k, square them, add them, take the under root 3 root 2. Same thing we are going to do with the CD. Take the position vector of D, position vector of C, subtract them. So then we take the magnitude, take the coefficient of ij, k and square and add. Then what is the cos theta? We already discussed about this. AB dot CD by AB and CD magnitude. So just put these value. AB and CD we have to take the dot product. Just take the dot product and denominator you have to multiply AB and CD magnitude. So you get minus 1 here. Now theta is lying between 0 and 180 degree. So theta will be equal to pi because cos theta is negative 1. That is theta is equal to pi. So this means that AB and CD are what? They are collinear. So we have deduced by the angle that they are collinear. That is lying on the same line. Let ABC be 3 vectors such that the magnitudes are given 3, 4, 5 for ABC and each one of them being perpendicular to the sum of the other two. And then we have to find A plus B plus C, these vectors. and then we have to take the magnitude. So how do we do this? See, we know that A dot B plus C is 0, B dot C plus A is 0, C dot A plus B is 0. This is given because these are the three vectors and they are each one of them being perpendicular to the sum of the other two. This is given. Then we'll take because we have to find A, B, C, so we'll just take the addition and then square them. While we are doing this, we'll take the value of A plus B plus C, square means we are taking the dot product, and we will properly take the multiplication here, dot product. So A dot B plus C, like this, every A has to be multiplied by ABC, B has to be multiplied by ABC, and C has to be multiplied by ABC, but we have to take care of the dot product. But we know that because the question is saying that these three are 0, which I told you that these are given, only A square, B square, C square are remaining. And since we know the magnitude of vector A, just square them, add them. Three vectors A, B, C satisfy the condition A plus B plus C equals 0. Evaluate the quantity mu, which is A dot B, B dot C, C dot A, and the magnitude of A, B, C are already given. Okay. So since this A and B and C, this is equal to 0 is given, so we take the dot product of this with A. So what do we get? Just take the dot product, that is A dot B, A dot C, and since we have this A dot B, A dot C, you can just take A dot A on the right hand side because we know A dot A square, the value of this is given. So this is square, 1 square, negative of this will be negative 1. Same thing we are going to do with B and same thing we are going to do with this C. Okay. So A dot this thing, B dot this thing, and C dot this thing. So what do we get? We have A, B, B, A, C, A, B, B, C. Right? So just what you can do is you can just combine them. Negative 1, negative 16 and negative 4 will also be combined. So this final, this is equal to mu, and mu, because this mu is this only. So negative 21 by 2 will be mu. This is going to be the final answer. If with reference to the right-handed system of mutually perpendicular unit vectors I, j and k, alpha is given as 3i minus j and beta is given as 2i plus j minus 3k, then express beta in the form of beta 1 plus beta 2. Beta 1 is parallel to alpha, beta 2 is perpendicular to alpha. So we'll assume beta 1. We'll try to find out beta 2 with beta 1 and beta, and then we'll apply the perpendicularity scenario. Right? So this is how we are going to, because alpha and beta are already given. So because beta 1 is parallel to alpha, we can write beta 1 equals some scalar alpha. Beta 1 is alpha into some scalar lambda. So just multiply this lambda with this beta 1. Beta 1 will be lambda into alpha. So 3i minus j. So 3 lambda i minus lambda j. So how to get beta 2? Beta 2 is simply, you can just take it beta 1 on the left hand side. So beta 2 will be beta minus beta 1. Beta is already given. Beta 1 we have already assumed 3 lambda I minus lambda j. You get B2. Now beta 2 is perpendicular to alpha. So take the alpha, take the beta 2 and multiply them. That is dot product. From here we are going to get alpha. That is, take alpha, take beta 2 and do this dot product. So when we multiply this, we are going to get the value of lambda. And now lambda, just put this value lambda in beta 2 and beta 1, because beta 1 was already assumed. Beta 2 already be found out by beta and beta 1. So just put this value here. So you get beta 1 and beta 2 as these values, 3 by 2 I minus half j, and beta 2 is half 3 by 2 minus 3 I j k. So let us summarize what we have discussed. First is the position vector of a point p, x, y, z. This is given by OP with a bar on it, that is an arrow on it, which is r, xi plus yj plus zk. What is the magnitude? Just take the under root and square the coefficient of ijk and add them. The scalar component of a vector are its direction ratios and represent its projection along the respective axis. So the scalar component of vector, that is, a vector has a scalar component and direction component also. The magnitude are direction ratios A, B, C and direction cosines L, M, N. How they are related of any vector? L is A by R, M is B by R and N is C by R. This is how magnitude, direction ratios and direction cosines are related to each other. The vector sum of three sides of a triangle taken in order is 0. Because ultimately you are coming back to that particular point from where you started. That is why the vector sum is 0. The vector sum of two co-initial vectors is given by the diagonal of the parallelogram whose adjacent sides are the given vectors. And the multiplication of a vector by a scalar lambda changes the magnitude of a vector by the multiple of lambda. That is, twice of that will become twice, quadruple multiplied by 4 and keeps the direction same. Right? If you multiply it with negative, the direction will be changed. For a given vector A, the vector A, that is A cap, is given by the A vector divided by the magnitude, and this is called the unit vector in the direction of this A vector. This is the unit vector. The position vector of point R, dividing a line segment joining the points P and Q, whose position vectors are A and B, respectively in the ratio m is to n. So there is a point which is dividing this in the ratio m is to n. A and B are the position vectors of P and Q. So internally, if it is NA plus MB by M plus N, and M are scalars, A and B are vectors. And if it is dividing it externally, it will be MB minus NA by M minus N. If theta is the angle between two vectors A and B, what is the cross product? A into B, A cross B, is magnitude of A, magnitude of B, and sine theta in between these two vectors, and there will be n cap also. This n cap is actually the unit vector which is perpendicular to the plane joining A and B. Wherever AB is there, this n cap will be in the direction which is perpendicular to the plane containing A and B. So this A, B, and n vector, they are going to find or form a right-handed system of coordinate axis. If we have two vectors A and B given in component form, what is the component form? A, M, and I, A to J, A 3K, like this B also. And lambda is any scalar. So when you add this, you will add the coefficient of I, then J, then K. When you multiply it with lambda, just multiply every coefficient with lambda. And when you take the dot product, you know what to do this. A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, A1, B1, A2, B2, A3, B3. And A cross B is some like this. We just discussed IJK. This is a vectoric form. Okay, miscellaneous discussion we had. So thank you so much. Take care of yourself.